button. Okay, now we're live. There we go. Nice.
It's got good election vibes.
I could see this playing as like balloons come down from the ceiling. I feel like that's a requirement. It's election day again. This is our Groundhog Day, election day over and over and over.
We have another one in a week.
Yeah, today is Ohio and Indiana. And one thing that's kind of crazy, like there are 3 districts where nobody's even running in Indiana against incumbents. Just no challenge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's Indiana 2, 8, and 9. All the incumbents just sailed on through. They're going to be in.
You mean for the Republicans?
Yeah, on the Republican side.
Mm-hmm. Unopposed. I'm tracking that. I'm going to have a nice little record of all the unopposed races. But
there are so many.
Those are Republicans, so whatever.
I mean, even on our side though, like there are just like Don Davis in North Carolina just didn't have a challenger, and why aren't we pushing people? We say that because it's hard and it's like so much work. But you know what? The more who said that primaries were the important place to put your energy this week? Was that the New York Times? I think they said it. Yes.
The New York Times. Get out of here. I was shocked. With redistricting and gerrymandering. They have come around to the conclusion that primaries are the thing that matter most. They matter more than the general. I don't know. We can't get more than like 10% of the people. My mother's 78 years old and she's like, I don't even know what this primaries thing is. This happen every time? And I was like,
oh my God.
And she votes
every time.
And she votes.
Wow,
right?
That's wild.
Yeah. Because the media doesn't call attention to it, because the incumbents aren't going to call attention to it. Why would they? If they're running for re-election, which most people are, right? Like, besides all the people who just keep dying in office, everyone else seems to be running again, or they just start running for the governor's seat or the senator's seat or whatever. But
yeah, I don't think I realized how much of a game of musical chairs it was just at the beginning, right? Folks are kind of like, there's got to be some sort of trading or plans, or like, well, I'm going to be headed into this election, and so somebody should step up to take this seat. And then you have races like the one Jackson Franklin is in with like 6 different people who are all vying for the same seat. And what is Jackson at? He's hanging in there at 70% of the vote, but we also have 5 other people that are
6 other people.
6 other people that are in there. Yeah.
Running against a state senator who obviously probably has more name recognition, been around a while. It's interesting. I've been spending today looking at primary election results, and the Democrats, a lot of people run for these seats, and the Republican side, even if there's challengers, there's like one or two. And I can't help but think about 2 things. One, the conversation everybody always has around vote splitting. They were very, very mad about Illinois 9. They were pressuring one of our candidates to drop out of the race, even though there were like 95 people in that race. Yeah. And like, there's a point to be made about this, right? Like, why do we have like 12 people running in a Democratic primary, right? You're going to have a hard time getting anybody who really wants change in that race. But we have hundreds of thousands of people who don't vote.
I mean, also that, but I think this speaks like the bench, right? Like nobody in the Democratic Party is interested in bringing up another generation with power, right? Like this is what we see over and over and over again. They would rather die in that chair than give it to somebody else. And so there's just not a recognition that like the continuation of power has to incorporate new people at some point. You got to start bringing in new folks and start building out like an aggressive bench. Like if you don't have that pipeline, what are you doing? Right? Like how are you?
But we don't really want the establishment's pipeline anyway, right?
Does the establishment even have a pipeline? Like,
No, but even if they did, like, I don't want what they're selling, so it's
no, of
okay.
course, of
But we
course.
do need to get the people who are selling us something different, selling us what it is that we want out of our government. We need to get them more help. I mean, super happy to see people like Lime Accordion putting out, a form that to try to rally volunteers and supporters for progressive grassroots candidates. But I just, I don't, we need like a national movement of politically engaged people. And like, it's
Wait,
exhausting.
guess what, Sarah? Guess where that movement's gonna come from? I think that's us. I think that's what we are building.
Man, we're trying. We are
Doing our
trying.
best. So I told you that I am now listening to Fear and Loathing on the campaign trail. So this is 1972. McGovern's running in the race. Nixon is in office. Hunter S. Thompson is getting into it. I'm only in like chapter 2, but I got to say this guy, this guy has moved to the neighborhood that I'm in Capitol Hill, and he just starts asking people questions like, so how does this stuff work? What are we doing here? Where are the volunteers coming from? And I swear to God, it's the exact same set of questions that we are asking right
50
now.
years.
Yeah,
50 years and nothing's
50 years
fucking
ago,
changed.
right? They're talking about like maybe the youth movement, maybe the youth voters are really going to come into play. There's 25 million of them. And if just 10% of them voted, it would change the whole dynamics of everything. And like is that happening? Is that the youth vote didn't materialize there? When did it materialize? And like the only time it really came to fruition was when Howard Dean did his, 50
we got to talk to Howard Dean. If you're out there, we want to talk to you and your 50-state strategy because we got thoughts.
Yeah, like that. I mean, that's basically what we're trying to do. We started trying to do even before we.
Look, I got off the phone today with a candidate in very rural Northern California. And I'm just saying the same thing that I've said 150 other times, that if we don't start paying attention to every single district across every single county across America, no matter what the election results were last time around, nothing's going to change, right? It is a no-brainer. And like, oh, that's 435 districts. Yeah, so what? Yeah. Split it up.
That is the number. You are correct. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's not difficult for you and I to imagine that we could actually accomplish doing what we want to do, which is changing the how of politics and showing up everywhere. But man, we are just two people. We do need more 24 people. Hours a day.
Like we are doing pretty well with the 150 candidates and like the 120 that are still active, and doing all of this, still coordinating the Citizens Impeachment work and bringing citizens into the mix. And like, thank you to our volunteer that is taking over that work, because I was losing my mind trying to do both of these. But so if two of us can get through 120 districts, more or less, if we just had two more people that could do this full time, right? That's a huge amount.
Hey, anyone want to join? The pay is really great. You get constant access to us all day long. We'll keep you laughing. That's about it.
That's true.
I just don't know what else is worthwhile to be doing right now. I have 3 kids. I am absolutely gutted for them that this is the world that they have grown accustomed to. They don't even bat an eye at the bullshit things that come out of this government. They kind of just laugh it off. And that is a coping mechanism, and that's just their reality, right? Like, it's look at this dumb thing he said today. It's kind of funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny until you sit back and you think about the fact that these are the people who are supposed to care about, I don't know, the humanity of the population, which is obviously just not what anybody gives a shit about anymore, right?
Yeah, the piece I just went through in the Fear and Loathing book is talking about how McGovern is just a truth teller, and nobody likes it when you tell the truth. And so the only difference between McGovern in 1971 and the Democratic Party is that he has shown up and he's like, oh yeah, well, we do have to deal with racism. This is the legacy of racism. And so we got to bus kids across lines into schools and all of this, right? And nobody wants to hear that. Nobody's interested in hearing it. The establishment doesn't want to hear it. But at the same time, what's happening is that he is sort of pulling the rug out from the idea that like anybody has a plan or expertise or knows what they're
Okay, so
doing,
so
right?
that's super fascinating, right? Like that this completely feeds into the fact that what we're saying, much to our chagrin, Kira, we have got to be in this for a really long time, because you get this one person who comes up and says the things and tries to be transparent and tries to tell the truth and tries to expose the corruption and the lack of planning or whatever. And then they go away again, and it just all goes back to usual. So, I mean, I honestly think that you and I are looking at like a 15-year political career, which shoot me now. Okay. Just know
ourselves to this. Although it is kind of cool when you can hear stories about things that like actually result in change. And we just had a conversation with the county chair in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Who has put a congressional district back in play just by showing up at
literally
towns where no one has visited and been like, hey, you want to register to vote? Like having picnics, right? Doing community stuff, bringing people out. And just that alone has reversed the trend in voter registration from basically like Republicans plus 100, right? And
yeah, it's interesting to think that everybody always says like do local stuff, which is true, right? Your local community around you needs a lot of help, right? Like connect with your neighbors, but we have to start connecting that to electoral politics, right? So like help out at your local food pantry, and while you're there, get 5 people registered to vote and inspire them to go to the polls, because helping in the community, I mean, it's only going to do so much. And we wouldn't have to help in our community so much if we had a government who gave a shit about the American people, right?
Well, and this is always the argument, right? We don't need the government to give a shit because the churches will take care of it, or then the churches.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's the argument that folks use, right? That's the institution. That's why they think the churches are there and the purpose that they serve. But it's not a substitution for like a collective understanding of the society you're living in and a commitment to the citizens that are being governed, that you should be able to find a job that pays a living wage in this day and age, right? That you should be able to find housing of some kind. There's some really basic requirements for everybody. And this is what all our candidates talk about, right? Like everybody needs to have a roof over their head. Everybody has kids they got to feed, right? And it is, I think, people that would absolutely like feed a hungry kid if it was right there in front of them. Somehow that just like gets completely disconnected when you start to talk about this at a much bigger scale in terms of like apparatus for feeding all of the hungry kids. One of the researchers that I used to work with, she thinks about institutions all day long, and she looks at it from like a sci-fi lens, and she says, institutions are a way to get to a post-scarcity world. If you have an institution that's actually functional and is doing its job and is able to bring resources to people that need them, all of a sudden you're living not in like a dog-eat-dog kind of survival of the fittest thing. Now you're living in a world where people can start to grow and thrive and move past.
Oh yeah, because we're only ever dealing with crises, right?
Yeah.
So the institutions are dealing with crises, the community members are dealing with crises, right? It's not like everyone's doing pretty good. You got some folks struggling, we'll lift them up, and then we're going to lift everybody else up all together with the institutions or the community events or the hand holding or whatever it is. But I'm just really fucking sick of crisis. It's been,
and for a lot
since of us, what 2007, it's just been one. I don't know, actually.
Yeah, I feel like
let me go back a little further.
Yeah. You've really just kind of been lurching.
We got the Iraq War. We got
2003 we invaded Iraq. Like I graduated from high school in 2000. I remember the entire time, like from when I was in like kindergarten, like grade school, they were like, you're going to be the class of 2000. You're going to be the class of the future, right? Big number and all of that. And then just like I went to college and shit started happening. Like 9/11 started happening. A couple years later, we got Iraq. Somewhere in there, the dot-com bubble burst. A couple years later, we had the mortgage crisis, and like and from there, it just keeps going.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing, Kira.
Oh no, we talked ourselves into a corner on that one.
I know we did. We really did. Come on, folks. We need a little juice. Give us some juice.
But
I mean, I can't help but like we're a little fucking crazy, but I really do believe in this thing. I really do believe that if we continue to show up everywhere, we find candidates to show up everywhere. We show up for those candidates, they show up for each other, and then the voters do their part and show up too.
yeah,
It is all very much possible. It's just I hate that folks are so disillusioned by the political process, apathetic about the political process. And the only thing that I can think is what we continue to say over and over again, which is like action is the antidote to anxiety. And like,
yeah,
I don't know, I end a 12-hour day going, what the hell did I do today? I don't know. But tomorrow it seems to make sense what I did today, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, David, I hear you, man.
Here, I'm just going to put this up for a second from David. This giving up hope on any response from the rep, tried everything. And quite frankly, so did we, right? We have encouraged you guys to reach out to your rep for one solid year, and they have done nothing. So now we have 130 courage candidates that will introduce articles of impeachment on day one. If they refuse to respond, we will replace them. Full stop.
And just so you're aware, David, one of the components of our candidates coalition is that these folks are talking about what it means to be a responsive government, and they know the challenges of the constituents like yourself, because we've told them exactly what we've done for the last year. And so they have made a plan to have town halls and a commitment, and by the time these folks get elected, we will have a full scale set of ideas that hopefully they'll adopt, including potentially open office hours and transparent constituent portals and a way to tell your rep
schedules.
Yeah, town hall schedules. And I mean, I personally love the idea of all those in district weeks, right? Schedule one day a quarter when you are in district with open office hours, no gatekeeping, no having to make an appointment, 15-minute time slots. You sign up online, anybody can walk in. Yeah. I mean, coffee and donuts and chat with your representative. You can yell at them. You can ask them questions. Of course, we can't control what these people say, but we need honest people in government. We need transparent people in government. I don't know. You're there in DC. What the fuck happens to people when they get there? It's all game playing and manipulation, and nobody can be honest. And I couldn't handle it. I don't know, man.
That is a hard question to answer, right? And I think a big piece of it, I mean, just the other day, we were talking through one of these races, and I said, well, it seems like the smart thing to do here, right, would be to, have this younger candidate step into the role that the more experienced candidate is leaving. And then you win-win, right? You get two people, both of them are in office, both of them are, doing work, and you're kind of like, building out that pipeline again. But you can only think that way if you actually have like a coherent institution that is committed to winning and to actually making a difference.
Not just that, also a set of values, so you know which people you want, right? Exactly. They don't have a set of core values, right? What is the Democratic Party platform right now?
It's stand for?
It's like affordability.
Oh my God.
By what means, guys? Do you have a plan to bring down gas? There's nothing to back that. It's just they talk about affordability all day.
I mean, it is kind of wild. So, impeachment has been our thing for a long time, right? And we've just been tracking for the candidates. We've been tracking impeachment in the news because for the last month or so, there have been spontaneous mentions of impeachment by members of the House.
Jeffries
has been freaking hilarious to watch, right? Because he goes on Fox News and he tells Fox News impeachment is not a priority. And he says this in response to his own people talking to Axios and saying, we're going to impeach on day one, which thank you. We did that. Courage candidates did it first. And then Jeffries has like a little social media post where when Trump says, let's impeach Jeffries is like, I impeach you first, and shows footage of him.
It's Jeffries derangement syndrome. Oh my God.
Nobody cares about you that much, bro. Everybody
hates you. Did you see him last night? Did you see him last night? I saw a video. We were in a meeting at the time, but they had this like Louisiana, Supreme Court ruling chat or whatever. And he's sitting there with his like flat baseball cap, looking so tough, talking the big talk. And I'm just like, are there people who take this motherfucker seriously? Excuse my language, internet. But like, are there people who are like, yeah, he's really working. he,
I mean,
I
every
mean,
once in a
the lack
while,
of people skills is wild to me, that some folks get elected to office. Like, they are the least personable people. I would not, the mark of like a good politician was always like, oh, he's a guy you'd want to sit and have a beer with. Of course, it was always
that
men.
that
Women
happened
don't
with
women
Governor.
don't drink beer. So, but in what world would I want to go get a beer with Jeffries? I mean, he's on the same level as JD Vance in that respect.
That's a
I
clip.
might
That
feel
is a clip
safer
right
with
there.
JD, to be honest with you, because I'm pretty sure I could knock him out. But I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
it
Kira,
is.
what are we doing with these
I
politics?
mean, well, we are crazy. We mentioned that before, but we're also just like, we're not taking wild leaps of faith here, right? All we are saying is like, well, this is possible, so let's do it. That's it. That folks with many, many more resources could also make that exact same decision. And if they did, we would be out of a job because because if they turn
Yeah.
that machine into actual functional work, like there's nothing that we could do to stop that, right? But they're not. That's the only reason that we are here is because there's literally nothing else. There's a complete vacuum, right? And when you're talking about a bench or like looking down the road, you're 12 candidates in 12 congressional races, right? And like 2 House races or whatever, is not going to be a bench. Oh, there was an infuriating article
Oh
on
wait,
Truth
are you
Out
talking?
today.
Is this a reference to all the other like
Just that
influential
was Justice Democrats.
folks?
That's
Okay.
no, but I'm thinking about the article in the Truth Out that Truth Out just published today. There's only
I couldn't read
16
it.
competitive race. Yeah, that's the headline is just there's only 16 competitive races in the country. This is not true, man. The race right
I
now
know.
in Indiana that Jackson's running in, that our Courage candidate's running in, the incumbent is like up 50 to like 40, and her opponent has no website and has no FEC filings. So this guy wins with zero marketing. People are just sick of this lady's shit, right? Because this is Representative Sparks. She does not seem to be well loved. If she can lose or even come close to losing to a primary challenger with zero web presence and zero money, anything is possible. Anything is
Anything
possible.
is possible no matter what, right? We've got
Also that, yes.
you get 20, 30, 40,000 people who come out to show up for these primaries. And like, man, the only thing I can think is like, are we alone out here, internet? Like, my feed is filled with people who want, rights for working people and like healthcare and to end the genocide. But like, is that just the internet? Is that just like such a time? Is that like a much smaller fraction of the American population than I can really fathom? Because it seems to me like everyone's really big mad and everybody really does seem to be getting on board the fact that like, oh, I don't know, we should have policies that help like the everyman and the working people, right? But it's not being reflected. It's not being reflected in the votes.
I mean, a big piece of this is just how difficult it is to figure out how to get to that power, to get to the actual lever. Like it's broken. We talked about how it's broken in the past, but also just the process of running for office, right? Just think about the ballot, the getting on the ballot. If you're going to be doing signatures,
people on the ballot. That's my point. We get the people on the ballot. They get the people on the ballot that have the good policies, and they're still like struggling to get any real traction, right? And then it's like, well, then you just got to turn to the fact that it's just about the stupid money, and the people with the money get the name recognition, and the media doesn't. I mean, it's all related.
It is. That is the unfortunate thing, right? It's one big tangled up system, and you can't fix one thing without all of it. If I can be a nerd for a second.
Please.
The dream for biology forever has been to like improve photosynthetic efficiency. They want plants to take in more sunlight, turn it into more starch, turn it into more sugar, and grow faster. And if you could do that, then all of a sudden you turbocharge your farms, you can grow twice as much food, and everything gets better.
Oh, okay.
There's a cycle that happens where you take energy from the sun and you split water and you end up connecting all the carbon dioxide atoms or molecules into sugar molecules. And when you do that, when you run that cycle, that's the thing that you actually need to improve. And so for a really long time, scientists were trying to like turn these dials like one at a time. And it would always break because all of these enzymes, all of these little machines that are working together to do this thing they're all working in concert. So if you overclock one and you don't overclock the rest of them, it's like putting the wrong gear in a
Sure.
watch, right? And you just
You
break
just
the
do
entire
everything
thing.
at
So
once.
what was that?
You have to do everything at once.
You
You have to
do,
make
which is why I
everything
think we're on the
at
right
once.
track.
Yeah, we feel crazy, but we are doing everything at once.
It's worth doing. And now it is really nice to be at the part of the journey where we can like talk to someone and say, oh, you get it. Okay, we can work together and figure out how to build
That's true.
this piece. Or no, nope. You got to be on your way. We cannot handle this. Yeah, that's also important. So it is nice to be able to make those determinations and to, quite frankly, like restrict yourself to people that you want to work with, that are turning the gears in the same direction and are pushing for the same and are, kind of crazy in the same way. Crazy in the same way. That's the important bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not crazy to sit back and really get a look at how it works, how it works on the inside, and look at it through the voters' eyes and look at it through the media's eyes and think, yeah, none of this is okay, you guys. Like it all has to change. In a perfect world, we make a Eleanor, we are crazy. It's okay. Yes, Eleanor, we are crazy. But in a perfect world, we get all of the pieces of the puzzle. And what does that look like? You've got money, right? Money to fuel the whole thing. You've got candidates, you've got volunteers lined up and trained for those candidates so they stop getting scammed by grifters.
Yes.
A lot of grifters out there, people that are taking advantage of our candidates and
unacceptable, you guys.
Signatures to get people on ballots, and it's just really uncool. We got to get the media to pay attention to cool shit. And like, I'd love to know what the benchmark is for the media to pay attention. Like, what is it that they actually need to cover the news of people running for office? Do they really need, like, you've got to be Mamdani or
no,
not being printed? Because I'm just super curious why it is that you aren't. I think we
got to get more out, like we have to get way outside the big names. Like all of the large media has kind of been hollowed out, right? Like the only people
but even the
reality,
even the independent stuff, right? Like I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, I'm just going through the long list of things we need to make the ultimate change. So we need media,
we do
volunteers, we need campaign staff, we need vendors, we need
a how-to on events, on cheap events that are not just like $5,000 dinners. That's ridiculous. Nobody wants them. It's not
community events to get people involved that attach it to the fact that you're going to elect this cool guy who's singing karaoke because he's awesome and he wants you to have health care.
That is a pitch right there. Which candidate is that? Who did the karaoke nights?
It could have been any of them. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
No, it was Jessica Salas who did karaoke.
Did she? Okay. Yeah, we got to recommend that more because these are the things what Sam recommended showing up at game shops, right? Find your Warhammer nerds. They got disposable income and they got time on their hands. Make them join your campaign.
Yeah, get creative, right? I really love your idea today about making art out of politics or making politics out of art and connecting the two, because politics is everywhere. I mean, we all use that line all the time, right? The political, personal is political and political is personal, blah, 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 blah. It's true. Everything's related, Kira. I can't parse. My brain is on fire.
Well, luckily it's all part of the same thing. So, you follow it around long enough, you'll get back to like the piece that you were working on originally.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh. I think that part of it, right? Like this kind of terror of being outside the box or not looking slick enough or something like that. I think that's, man, people got to be a little bit weirder. They got to, like, we were talking with Katrina yesterday, right? And Katrina is trans. She goes by Katrina DeVille, and she has black and white hair like Cruella DeVille, and she's real noticeable. And she has had, campaign events at a shooting range for concealed carry stuff.
It's awesome. She does that like every week.
Breweries, like there's, and that is like authentically her, and that connects with people.
Yeah.
And I'm more weird, man. Like, let's get the real strange ideas out there and competing. And
I know, but is it like, what's the hang up? Because, again, this goes back to me being like, is social media just not real life? Because it
I
seems
mean,
to me like
yeah,
people want, well, obviously, yes, okay, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even reflective
yeah,
of a very large slice of real life. And I just feel like it comes back to fear, and everybody wants to feel safe, and they're going to go with the safe choice, the stiff guy in the really poorly fit suit, who really doesn't say much of anything at all, but he doesn't say anything wrong. And that's good enough for them. And man, I just got to say, that is so sad. That is just such a sad, sad choice to make. There's nothing wrong with some weird people who put it all out there on the line. Like, I want people who are going to fight for me. That's pretty much it.
We have an idea in Instagram. They're from gosh, I forgot the name already. Run away from the humans, which I feel you, man. Like, it's a long day. And they say, like, show up, have dinner in their backyard, and see how the incumbents are living off your taxpayer money. Like, heck yeah, have a block party on their block, man. Like, show up, get all the people out. I love that idea. I think that's great.
That would
show up, put flyers on.
And the thing is, like, you don't have to be like a raging lunatic, right? Like, just be your normal everyday self, not trying to get a reaction, because maybe I'm going to take some heat for this, but we see that a lot where people are like big fed up, and then they storm into, in public spaces or whatever. And they just look, it doesn't help you're not going to change anyone's mind, and you're not going to really have influence if you're
I don't think outrage is such a bad idea. It's just gotta be right. Don't get mad, get even. That is my personal operating philosophy. And I think, like, we all buy into that.
You scare me a little bit. You do. That's right. You terrify me a little bit. I do not live my life that way, people, but if that is your no,
I just come on board.
I'm a forgiveness junkie. Like, it doesn't fucking matter to me what you did to me. Like, that's fine. We're different. It's okay.
Yeah, this is true. So why are you working on this then? Like, there's definitely like a layer of
okay, you're like backward thinking, like, I gotta get even, and I'm forward thinking, it's gotta be fixed.
Oh, it works well then. We see
it does
cover both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, I don't need to get even. I don't need to like, there's no what's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember because perimenopause, but yeah, I just don't need to get even. That's not. Yeah. I'm just here to. I'm a woodworker, Kira. I like to build shit. Right. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm building, and you're just like, let me rip it down first.
You have to get rid of the bad stuff at some point. You have to get rid of it.
This is true. This is totally. I'm not trying to remodel Congress in the sense that I want to, like, I think that these people can, like, steer to the right path. I mean, they may be able to, but I'm not banking on it. I'm not naive. Okay. I'm not naive. Let's just say that. You're frozen.
No, I'm right here.
Okay.
I was just very motionless. I was letting you continue. Like,
yapping. Can we get the audience to ask a question or something? Is anyone listening? Do we have one listener? Do we have two? Yeah. Do we have 12? Somebody ask a question, because it's been a fucking day. It has been a day.
We are looking for audience feedback. What do you want to hear about?
What do you people need to know? Do you want to know exactly how it is we're going to change the world? What would it take to?
There's like an hour.
What would it take to bring folks on board? What is the message that we need to shout? I would guess we need to shout it every single day for people to start hearing it, because something's getting drowned out. Like, we do have.
I think it's just that there's so much screaming into the void right now, right? There's just incredible.
Yeah, I just don't like that. It's shouting. It's not.
Yeah, we're not very, very good at shouting, to be honest, right? But I think that's just more. What does shouting do, right?
Makes you feel better, and then you feel worse.
I mean, yeah.
You didn't have kids.
I guess that's one thing. Correct. I opted out of that. This is correct. But
that's the whole playbook from, like, age 4 to 16. You shout at them, then you feel worse. You feel better, and then you feel worse.
No, that's terrible.
Hey, I
Oh
had 3
man.
boys. It took a lot of shouting.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But also like these are human beings that get to make their own choices. And if they don't want to make the choice that they're interested in, unlike children, which you kind of have to guide and teach. I mean, are we in this for parenting? Is that what we're doing? Are we gentle parenting voters and such?
Oh,
I don't know if I'm gonna be good at that. Oh, thank you for
but
the kind words, David. I gotta throw a shout out to Sarah here. Sarah is the whole reason that we even have a candidate program going on. She has talked with all of them. Every single person that has shown up and said, yeah, we got to hold this administration accountable.
they are so cool.
They
These
really are.
candidates are so, like, honestly.
Tell me about the woman in Nevada too. She just came on too, right?
I haven't met with her yet. She submitted her assets, but I'm meeting with her
Okay.
maybe tomorrow or something. But I
But she's
talked
a
to
civics
Rose.
teacher.
She's
right?
a civics teacher. Yeah, she did
Yeah.
her video from her classroom, and it's just very much like I've taught civics, and I cannot stand by and watch. So I've decided to run for Congress, even though I'm 60, and like and no one else is stepping up. And like, look, most of the people that I have spoken to have said to me at one point or the other, I never saw myself doing this.
Yep.
And you know, I think that normal people are going to be a little suspect. What do you mean? You haven't been working to this your whole life? No, man. It's not like trying to train to be a doctor. We have to decide about it when you're like a freshman in college and then take all the right courses and then, you know, go to med school and then get the perfect internship and then get the perfect fellowship. I mean, anybody can jump in and run. You just have to have the willingness to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, for all my DIY lovers out there who go on YouTube to figure out how to do all of the things and fix all of the things in your house. And I know that's just like a lot of people now. We have resources, and everybody who wants to run for Congress has resources too. Oh, and PS, most of them sitting reps don't even know how the Constitution works anyway, because they never took the class.
Yes.
So,
well,
these candidates are just, they're just amazing. They're really great.
They really are. And that is the best part about that work, I think, is connecting them and connecting like the folks that we're starting to meet now, the gentlemen that used to work with the unions for a really long time, right? The women that are doing the work in the voting place. All these people are doing this work, if not like alone, then like a very small isolated group. And being able to make these connections and say like, you are not alone. There are other people working just as hard in different lanes, right? But it's you're able to see immediately that this is not like a competition. This is a place where, okay, we can line up and we can all start pulling in the same direction now that we know about each other. I really hope we keep finding those folks that are in it, like the, poll workers or county Dems. We talk a lot of shit about county Dems because they are sometimes real mean to our candidates, and that is unacceptable if you want to run a democracy. But, there are also Democratic parties out there that are doing their best to, hold it down, make sure voters.
Yeah, at least one or two people, amongst I do think we just have to create kind of like an underground network of all of the badass people. And because they're in all sorts of different industries, right? They're doing all sorts of stuff, registering for people to vote or protecting the vote, or they know all these little like nooks and crannies of how politics works. And so most of what we do really is just trying to connect the dots, right?
Yeah.
Every single time we hear from a candidate that they need something, we're like, oh, I guess we got to figure that out now. And then we figure it out and we get them resources, or we connect them with someone who has resources. And then we've just expanded our toolkit of all the stuff that we've learned. And I mean, I don't know, like, I just have to say, like, don't hire the strategists, people. If you ever want to run for office, please don't hire the strategist. Hire the person that might be your best friend, who's the hardest worker. That's really all it takes.
Yeah,
showing up and working
your
butt
like,
off.
I can figure this out, right? Like that's the only attitude that you need, because it is all possible. It's obnoxious, and sometimes you got to call a bunch of people in order to actually like get your foot on the solid ground that you need to get going. But yeah, the one thing I was going through my notes from when we talked with Nader a couple, I guess about a month ago now. And one of the things he said was like, make the consultant class a target. And I had completely forgotten about it till now. But
how?
Well,
do you have any suggestions?
We got to find out who they are. We have to figure out who these people are that are like the people running Mothership who's just hoovering up donations from like old people with dementia, right? We have to figure out the folks behind, oh gosh, not Third Way. That's like the older people, or Third Act is the older people activist group. Third Way is the consultancy that's basically like try to be more like Republicans, right? Like there are folks that are doing this work and are taking in crazy big money for it. Simon Rosenberg, who does Hopium, he makes $220,000 a year, is on the 990 for his nonprofit.
So, okay, all right. So did all of these people get one great big candidate elected and that launched them to be able to build I gotta know, I gotta know the root cause of it, right? Like how did they start? How did they start?
That's another research project for us. Mothership started as like a spin-off of it wasn't Act Blue, it was a different donation group, I think, but they basically became like a late night infomercial QVC type scam where old lonely people that is their communication, and they think that they're actually talking to the president or something like that. And
oh, that's so sad.
It's really depressing. Yeah, it's a super terrible system, and
so many scammers.
Yeah, just a lot of grifters out there. Just having a directory of non-grifters will be like a really big deal. Yeah,
I know.
So if you guys know good political operatives, people that you actually think are cool, send them.
Or anybody cool in the political world. If you've got a county party chair or a friend who works at the county office and registers people to vote, or like is a poll worker or is doing great work in your community, man, let us know, because we'll talk to anybody. And we are literally going to be building out the largest network of people who show up and do the work, and putting them in conversation with one another to figure out how we can, I don't know, get the electorate to show up and do the work and vote. I mean, I don't think it's, maybe I'm delusional. It just seems to me like no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you want healthcare, right? Like, are there MAGA Republicans who are literally like no to healthcare because Trump says it's bad, and they're just like totally fine with getting their life savings wiped out because they don't. I mean, it just to me does not seem like a political issue.
There's a couple factors, right? One is just kind of straight up racism, to be honest, right? Like rather than let Black folks swim in pools back in the day, that a lot of times just shut down the pool so nobody could go swimming, and that mentality is still around, right?
Yeah.
But another piece of it is that sometimes there's just not the imagination. Like I remember, this was many years ago when the ACA was still being fought over. But I was talking with a friend of mine who, another veteran, he was an Army guy, and he was, paying some story about how, if we were too kind to poor folks that had health issues, then they wouldn't ever get up and work and pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And I'm like, okay, well, your uncle has had a knee problem for like literally forever, and he can't afford to get it fixed. What if he had free healthcare and he fixed his knee, and then he could go work again because he wasn't going to like kill himself hobbling around on his knee? And it had just never occurred to him that maybe this could be like a beneficial thing to help people, and that people would actually want to live productive lives.
Don't you think? Okay, I know you don't think like this by nature, but I think like this by nature, because I have to try to understand why it is that people would think this way. And I think that if there's not someone below you that you can point to, then you got to look at your own life and decide whether or not you're where you need to be or where you want to be. And so people actually benefit, whether they do it by race or wealth or whatever it is, what county you live in. I think it's just this weird, fucked up natural order of things, right? People need someone below them so they can feel better about themselves, because nobody feels good about themselves anymore. Because
a lot of folks really and truly want a hierarchy, and they want to know where they fall in that hierarchy.
Man, I just don't.
Top, right? But
I'm like, I do not care if you have $450 billion or you live on a mansion or you live in a hut. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
That you could stand like right next to Elon Musk and look him straight in the eye and be absolutely confident that you are as much of a human as that guy.
I mean,
And
that one's pretty easy, because I think we all agree he's
okay,
vile, but like
then
Warren
Mackenzie,
Buffett or something, or
sure, or
I don't know.
or Mackenzie Scott, right? So you and
Yes.
Mackenzie Scott
Oh,
are
great,
hanging out,
great.
right?
I would just be like, tell me how it feels to give all that money away. That
Yeah,
would be amazing,
yes,
right? Like,
yeah,
that's super cool. I would be very excited, but I
yeah.
wouldn't be like, you're a better human. Why? Because you got a bunch of zeros in your bank account? How
This
the heck does
is
that make anybody better?
folks feel real weird, man. They feel real weird about
Money really
approaching.
messes people up.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Cultivate that sense of self, you guys. We love you. We think you're awesome. And
Everybody
you are
is
just as
great.
much. What was that?
Everybody's just great. Like, everybody has something amazing to offer. And it makes me really, really sad that we spend so much time pointing fingers to other people so that we can feel better about ourselves. That makes me devastated, because it's not even the people you're pointing fingers at that are taking the brunt of it, right? There's bad stuff there, but like, you yourself are taking the bad. Feel good about yourself. Point to your great, celebrate yourself. Think about, oh yeah, do you want to improve in some areas? Sure, go ahead and do that. But like, you have enough value just as a human being existing on Earth. I just don't believe there's like evil people, even like MAGA. I don't, that doesn't do anything for me.
That makes you real scary to like capitalism and the social order. So just I hope you know that.
I don't know. I've just been like this my whole life, so I don't know.
That's good. No, that's why we're working together. I think it's great. Because it's true, and it is like part of the reason that we don't accept that things have to be this stupid and terrible. So
They just don't.
yeah, that's it. All unnecessary here. Let me check in a little
We
bit.
only got 17% of the vote in Ohio District 6, so
Okay.
that's lagging. And we've got 23% of the vote in. It looks like Chantel Brown has already won her race.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's.
But let's just shout out Ardelia for running, showing up and taking the fight to that field. Thank you, Ardelia. And we'll also shout out to Courtney Peterson. She won't be able to finish out that race, but she was one of the very first people to join us and started from scratch. I remember watching her figure out how to build a logo and find
yes, I do remember that. And like, people are going to want to get like that win rate at the end of our electoral cycle, and fine, we'll publish whatever it is. But like, the thing that you and I have been talking about this week is like, I don't care.
It's true.
I don't care. I want, and I will reach out to every single person who has won their Democratic primary to see if they're not an incumbent. Incumbent's not allowed here in the Courage Coalition. To see if they want to join us. Nobody has to or whatever. But like, at the end of the day, if we only get a few people through and our win rate is like minuscule, it doesn't matter to me, because we're creating a movement. You have to show up everywhere with the message, and it's not going to happen overnight. As much as I'd really like to, I'm so tired.
A quarter of these House races and however many folks come through to get on the ballot, like that is already a massive achievement in like 6 months. And we are just getting started, y'all. It's going to be a crazy ride. So this marks the beginning of what is going to be 2 straight months of primaries. Every single Tuesday, basically, we've got a primary with at least 2 or 3 folks in it. June 6th is going to be a massive one, and then June 23rd right after that. And we are going to be just nonstop. I mean, it's not like we have stopped before this, but it's just going to get even
when weren't we nonstop?
Yeah. So thank you all for being here tonight. Really glad to have you guys listening in, sending your comments out there. Love this team.
We have no plan when we do these things.
Whatever's
on
our crazy little brains that evening.
We're documenting is what we're doing, Kira. Yes. We are documenting this crazy, wild ride.
Because one day this is going to be in the history books. I guarantee it. We're going to see some wild upsets. And we're gonna be the people that showed up when it got real dark and real scary. So
that is true. I want to shout out that 1 week from today we've got Britt in West Virginia 1, and of course we were supposed to have Louisiana a few days later, but Louisiana, 2 of our Courage candidates have joined. Lauren has joined the lawsuit by Lindsay Garcia down there.
Mhm.
We'll see what happens. But May 19th is our next huge day. So,
and this is the lawsuit for the redistricting. They're already in the middle of an election, and Lauren went and got all of her signatures to make the ballot, and then the Supreme Court handed down a terrible decision, and the state immediately jumped on it to try and mess up the district that Lauren had been running in. So she is a plaintiff in this case, saying you can't do that. The election's already underway, man. Yeah, another way that our folks stand up for the right thing to do and just aren't afraid to go toe to toe with the U.S. government. I'm really proud of them.
I'm really proud of them too, and I'll be really interested to see what happens in Florida. Not feeling so great about that one. Obviously, the Republicans control everything down there, and Santos is like pushing it through. So, but I have to tell you, this morning I woke up to a video of protesters in Florida. I think they were at the State House, and a gentleman, probably in his 70s, black man, saying that he lived through the Jim Crow era, and he's like, he literally, I think I cried this morning when I watched this, Kara. He was, he said that he didn't have much time left. He's an old man, but he was worried about his grandchildren and his great grands. And man, I'll tell you, like, it is. People use the language all the time, the next generation, for the children, but I don't know how many times people stop and really consider we are talking about human beings whose lives are completely ahead of them. They do not deserve to have to clean up this mess. I mean, where are the adults in the room? So finding the people with courage and working with them for the last 6 months has been an amazing experience.
Only place I want to be going forward to. Don't have patience for cowards. It's not going to work.
Not going to work. Show up and fight, baby.
That is the motto. All right, folks, we're going to call it this evening. Thank y'all for being here. We'll see you at an undetermined time when we have stuff to yap about next.
Surprise. Bye.